When you think about youth baseball, there are so many things that just aren't the same. You could have two teammates who have totally different skill levels playing on the same field. You could have two teams playing in the same league with completely different levels of experience. You could say the same thing with the quality of fields, the umpires, the equipment, and we could go on forever, right? But there is one thing that's the same for every youth baseball player, coach, and team. Everyone's out there to have fun and get better. Today's Bullpen Bulletin is all about improving your skills while you're having fun. I'll be explaining my top 5 favorite games to play with your team so you can have fun and get better. Hey team, it's Coach Art with Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. Thanks for tuning in today. And if you're a youth baseball player or a coach and you'd like to improve your game, then you've come to the right place. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I come out with weekly videos that'll help you in your baseball journey. And don't miss my free guides that I'm giving away at the end of this video as my gift to you for stopping by. But for now, let's make sure we have fun while we're getting better. The first game is one of my favorites and it's called Flip. Flip is a game that I played when I was coming up through youth baseball, and it's honestly one of my all-time favorite games to play. From a baseball improvement standpoint, it works on your glove and your hand skills with the ball. So if you're an infielder, this game is especially good for you to make your hands quicker and smoother. To start, whoever wants to play is going to get in a circle, and everyone needs to make sure that they have their glove and their hat with them because their hat is how they keep score. There's going to be one ball that you play with. And for a good comparison, Flip is very similar to the classic game of hot potato. The object of the game is to pass the ball around the circle without dropping it. And if you drop it or you make a bad pass, then you get a strike. If you get a strike, you're going to turn your hat 1/4 of the way so it's right here. You're allowed 4 strikes in the game or 1 full turn of the hat. If you get 4 strikes, then you're out. You're not allowed to catch the ball at all throughout the game with either your hand or your glove. So your glove has to stay open the entire game. You're allowed a total of 3 hits or juggles every time you receive the ball. Think back to the hot potato game that we just talked about. You could pass the ball in 1 hit, you could pass the ball in 2 hits, or you could pass the ball in 3 hits. But any more than 3 and you get a strike. You're not allowed to pass the ball with your hand, you can only pass the ball with your glove. It doesn't matter how you juggle the ball as long as it's not more than 3 hits and you pass with your glove. So really, the last hit always has to be with your glove. So here's a quick example. If we were playing Flip and I was receiving the ball, remember I get 3 hits and I have to pass with my glove. So if I receive the ball, I could go 1, 2, 3 and pass it. I could go 1, 2, 3 and pass it. I could even do all 3 with my glove. I could go 1, 2, 3 and pass it. Or I could pass it in 2. I could go 1, 2 and pass it. I could go 1, 2 and pass it. Or I could just pass it in 1 hit. If I'm receiving the ball and maybe I see somebody's not paying attention, I could get the ball and just pass it with 1 hit, right? So it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter how you do it, what sequence you do, as long as it's not more than 3 hits and you pass with your glove. And remember, if I went 1, 2 and I dropped it, I would turn my hat 1/4 and we would keep on playing. I'm allowed 4 strikes, and which is 1 turn of the hat. Once I get 1 turn of the hat, I'm out of the game. The second game is called 2-ball. 2-ball is another game that I played growing up, and honestly, it's one of my all-time favorites again, and it's super simple to play. From a baseball improvement standpoint, it works on your hand-eye coordination and your catching reflexes. We don't use our glove in 2-ball, so don't worry about bringing your glove. Same thing with Flip. Everyone who's playing is going to get in a circle, and everyone is going to have 1 ball in their hand. There's only going to be 1 person who starts with 2 balls in their hand. And these are the rules. The object of the game is you're going to toss the baseballs around the circle to each other, and you're not allowed to get caught with 2 baseballs in your hands at the same time. To start the game, the person with 2 balls is going to choose a teammate to toss their ball to, and they're going to toss 1 ball to a teammate. That teammate who they're tossing to has to toss their ball that they have to another teammate before they catch that ball. And that's how the game works. So if you are tossed the ball, if you're receiving a toss, you have to toss the ball that you have first before you catch that ball. If you don't and you catch the ball before you toss the ball, you're caught with 2 baseballs in your hands and then you're out of the game. Another rule is you can only catch the ball with your glove hand and you can only toss the ball with your throwing hand. So I'm right-handed, I can only toss the ball with my right hand and I can only catch the ball with my glove hand. I can't catch the ball with my throwing hand. So as the game is going, everybody's just tossing one ball to each other. There's always one ball in the air, and everybody always has one ball. And if you're receiving the ball, you have to throw your ball first before you catch that other ball. If you don't and you catch the ball without tossing your ball, then you're caught with 2 baseballs and you're out of the game. If you make a bad toss, then you're going to be out. Also, if you get caught with 2 baseballs, then you're going to be out as well. Now, if you get tossed the ball and you toss your ball and you try and catch that one ball and you drop it, you are not out yet. You can still pick up that ball because technically you still have 1 ball. You don't have 2, right? So you can pick up that ball and keep on playing. The only reason that you would get out is if the next person you toss the ball to tosses it back to you and you're not ready and you drop the ball, or you get caught with 2. So that's a little strategy in the game where if you see someone drop the ball and they toss it to you, you can toss the ball right back to them to get them out because they got caught with 2. And another strategy is you can do all sorts of different types of tosses. Obviously, we're not throwing it hard, but you can do straight tosses. You can toss it up in the air to make them wait. You can toss it a little to the left, a little to the right to make the catching harder. So you can do different types of tosses to try and get people out. Like I said, 2 ball is one of my all-time favorite games, and it's amazing for your hand-eye coordination and catching reflexes. The third game is called Pepper. So all of these games that we're talking about today are great time fillers if you're waiting around for something. If you're at a tournament and you have nothing else to do and you're waiting for the game before you to end, you can play these games. If you're at one of your games and you're waiting for the umpires to arrive because they're running late, then play these games. Pepper is especially great to play as a hitting drill at any time. From a baseball improvement standpoint, it improves your hitting vision and helps you get the barrel to the ball for better contact. All you need is a bat and a ball to play. We don't use gloves. And these are the rules. So there's going to be one hitter and everyone else who's playing is going to be in a semicircle in front of the hitter. And it's not too far away. I would say it's about 10 to 12 feet. So if you were throwing to me and I was the hitter, I would be about right here and you would be about this far away. So it's not far at all. The object of the game is the players who are in a semicircle in front of the hitter. There's one ball and one player has the ball. Their job is to throw the ball into the strike zone and the hitter does a little half swing like this to make contact and hit the ball back to the players. The hitter keeps hitting the ball until the ball is caught in the air or they swing and miss. If the hitter hits the ball in the air and someone catches it, that player who catches the ball in the air, they get to be the hitter now. They switch. So if I was here and you were throwing to me and I did a little half swing and I hit a line drive or maybe like a little pop-up to you and you caught it, we would switch. You would be the hitter now. If the hitter swings and misses, then they switch with the player who tossed them the ball. So again, if we were playing and you were tossing me the ball and I was here and you tossed it and I swung and I missed, then we would switch and you would be the hitter now. And a quick note, you're not throwing the ball as hard as you can like trying to strike me out. And I'm not doing a full batting practice swing trying to crush the ball over the fence. You're just sitting there and you're doing a little toss, little toss, little toss into the strike zone, and I'm just doing a little half swing, little half swing, little half swing. And if someone catches the ball in the air or I swing and miss, then the hitter switches. But until that happens, I just keep on hitting. The fourth game is called Knockout. These last 2 games, if you're a coach, these are games that you can play with your team to have a little fun during practice. The first one is called Knockout, and this is more of an individual competition game between the players. You can play Knockout in the infield or in the outfield, and you can add on rules as the game goes on and players get knocked out. And these are the rules. Everyone on your team will line up where you're playing the game. So if you're playing in infield, you should line up at shortstop, and if you're playing in outfield, you should line up in center field. The object of the game is to make a clean play, and if you make an error, then you're knocked out. The last player standing is the winner. You can start the first couple rounds pretty easy where you're just counting the fielding of the ball. You can even allow a bobble or 2, and you're just going to hit the ball straight to the players to make it easy. As players are getting knocked out, you can start adding on rules like you have to field the ball cleanly and you have to make a good throw to first or to second base from the outfield. And you can also start hitting it to the sides where they have to start moving around to make a harder play. When you get to the last few players to determine the winner, there are no bobbles allowed. You have to field the ball cleanly and you have to make a good throw with no short hops. And as a coach, you can start hitting the ball anywhere you want to try and make the plays as hard as you can. Because when you start getting down to the end, you start getting your really talented players, and it could take a while for them to get knocked out if you're making it easy for them to field. The fifth game is 18 or 21 outs. Again, this is a game that I played when I was growing up, and I still play as a coach. The number of outs you play will be the same number of total outs in one of your games. So if you play 6 innings, you'll play 18 outs. If you play 7 innings, you'll play 21 outs. And for this example, I'm just going to go with 18 just to make it easy. So the whole purpose of this game is for your team to make a total of 18 outs with as little errors as possible. Every 3 outs, you're going to reset and you're going to start a new inning. You're going to have all of your teams set up in their positions in the field, and you can even add base runners if you like. You're going to hit the ball to different positions and they're going to make the play. And if they make an error, you're going to tally that. And just to let you know, this game takes a little bit longer to play, so I would give at least 10 or 15 minutes to play the game. I've even had games last longer than 20 minutes because my team kept on making errors. There are 2 ways to play. The easier and the quicker way to play is to tally the outs and the errors separately without having them impact each other. The harder way to play, and the one that'll take a little bit longer, is if you have every error subtract an out. So if your team has a total of 10 outs and they make an error, now they have 9 outs. You can use this game as a tool to work on different baseball situations with your team, and even with your base runners too. Make sure you let me know which one of these games that you're excited to play with you and your team, and which one is your favorite. I'd love to hear from you. I also have some free guides I'd like to give you before we go that are down in the description. One of them is a free baseball equipment sizing guide that really just explains all the equipment that we use in baseball, but more importantly, it helps you find your perfect size if you're looking to size a glove or a bat or anything else. There's also a free 2-hour practice plan for coaches with 2 practice blueprints if you're looking for some practice help in your practice plans and really making them more efficient. Make sure you grab yours down below. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me today. I hope this video gave you some new ideas on how to combine fun and baseball improvement. I'll see you next week for another edition of the Bullpen Bulletin.